Strange changes lately? Only the awakened, chosen feel. Get ready, because what I'm about to tell you might not make sense to everyone. This goes far beyond repeating numbers, strange coincidences, or meditation. It's something rare, something that only happens to a few scattered souls across the world. People who aren't just waking up spiritually. They came here with a mission, to help others see through the fog. You might not have realized it yet, but there's a very specific sign you've been feeling. It's subtle, almost invisible, but it's there. And it means one thing. You were chosen. It's not loud. It's not something people notice or take seriously. But once you feel it, nothing is ever the same again. The way you think changes. The way you feel changes. The way you see yourself in the world changes. Most people ignore this sign. They call it stress, fatigue, or just a weird phase. But it's not confusion. It's a calling. Your soul is starting to remember why it came here. And there's something important you need to know. This sign doesn't appear to just anyone. It only manifests in those with an energy strong enough to hold deep transformation. A transformation that will impact not just your life, but the lives of many around you. If this has been happening to you, understand this. It's not a coincidence. And no, it won't go away with time. Because this is not just a phase, it's the beginning of something much greater. Now let's dive into the 7 layers of this powerful process and discover if what you're going through isn't just a spiritual awakening, but a sign that you've been chosen. Layer 1. You no longer recognize the life you built. This kind of awakening doesn't arrive with thunder or flashing lights. It shows up quietly, in the middle of an ordinary day. You're heading to work, scrolling through your phone, folding laundry, and then suddenly it hits you. This life doesn't feel like mine anymore. Your job, your plans, your relationships, even your own identity, start to feel like something borrowed, as if you've been living a story that was never truly yours. And then come the questions. Why does this even matter to me? Who told me this was the right path? When did I stop feeling alive? At first you try to fix it. You change your routine. You go on a trip. You try to distract yourself with something exciting, but nothing works. The feeling only gets stronger. It's as if something deep inside you is out of place, as if your essence is disconnected from the life you're living. This is the first layer, the breakdown of the false self, the version of you that was built to fit in. Most people are perfectly content living on autopilot, but the chosen ones, they can't. They're pulled, almost forcibly, out of their old reality. And that creates conflict. A part of you still craves the safety of what's familiar, but something deeper already knows. You can't hide anymore. The illusion falls apart. You try to go back, but it's like the door is closed. Because this isn't just a shift, it's a goodbye. You're leaving behind an entire version of who you thought you were, and the craziest part? Once this feeling arrives, you can't unfeel it. You can't go back to sleep. Layer 2. Familiar faces begin to feel distant. As you detach from your old life, another shift begins. And this one cuts deeper. Your relationships start to change. People who've always been part of your journey start to feel like strangers. The connection fades. The conversations lose depth. You could be sitting across from someone you've known forever and still feel like you're in different worlds. This isn't arrogance. You're not better than anyone. It's just that your energy is shifting, rising, and not everyone rises with you. This energetic mismatch creates distance. Old friendships start to fade. Things that once made sense now feel fake, forced. People misunderstand you. Some even twist your words. Places you once loved begin to feel heavy, suffocating. And yes, it hurts. It's a lonely phase. Many abandon their path just to hold on to familiar bonds, because no one wants to feel alone. But those who are called, they keep going, even in silence, even afraid. Because there comes a moment when your soul refuses to keep pretending. You simply cannot force yourself to fit into places you've outgrown. And as painful as it is, this stage isn't about rejection. It's about realignment. The universe is clearing your path, removing what no longer matches your vibration. It hurts. You'll miss people. But it also creates space. Space for new connections. With people who resonate with your truth. People who will see your soul, not your appearance, not your past. Layer 3. You begin to feel a mission, even if you don't know what it is. Something new begins to stir inside you. It's not a thought. It's not a voice. It's more like a pulse. A silent urgency whispering, you're here for something more. There's something only you can do. You weren't born to just survive, pay bills, and go through the motions. You were made for purpose. For a role in this world that's uniquely yours. And the strange part? Even though you feel it so deeply, you can't fully explain it. It's like you only have a few puzzle pieces. A dream here, a sudden inspiration, a random intuition. But the full picture hasn't revealed itself yet. Still, one thing becomes obvious. The life you're living no longer fulfills you. This is when many chosen ones start to feel lost. Everything that once mattered, jobs, titles, goals, now feels colorless. Normal no longer satisfies your soul. You feel drawn to something deeper, something more meaningful, even if you can't see it yet, even if the world around you doesn't reflect it. And this feeling, it doesn't go away. The more you ignore it, the louder it gets. This is not imagination. It's not a crisis. It's your soul awakening. And not every mission looks the same. Maybe yours won't be loud. Maybe it won't come with applause. Maybe it will be quiet, but powerful. It might be something deeply personal, intimate, and sacred. Even if you don't have full clarity yet, what truly matters is that it's real. If this feeling is stirring inside you now, it's because your spiritual awakening has reached a level few ever experience. That moment when the soul begins to express itself without interference from the ego. Layer 4. You lose the desire to compete, even when you're winning. As you continue to dive deeper into this awakening, something begins to shift inside you. That urge to prove something to the world slowly starts to fade. You might still have goals, dreams, ambitions, but that hunger to always be first, to outshine everyone else, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. At first it might seem like you've lost your ambition, but that's not what's happening. What's really unfolding is that ambition is giving way to purpose. You no longer want to climb ladders just because everyone else is climbing. You stop wasting energy on races that don't lead to where your heart truly wants to go. The ego, once hungry for recognition, begins to quiet down. In its place, a new desire is born, to create with truth, to serve with authenticity, to live in alignment. Not for applause, but for meaning. This is where the chosen ones begin to truly stand out. While others chase visibility, you begin to seek significance. While many cling to control, you seek harmony. You realize that your worth was never in medals, titles, followers, or how much money flows into your account. Your soul didn't come here to conquer. It came to awaken. And once that becomes your core motivation, you stop fighting for space in places where your spirit no longer fits. Instead, you begin to dream and build things others can't even imagine yet. Layer 5. Time feels distorted. At some point, you start to notice strange things happening. You check the clock and an hour has passed, but it felt like a moment. Or the opposite. Only minutes have gone by, but it feels like you journeyed through hours inside your own mind. No, you're not distracted. You're not losing focus. Your consciousness is just shifting to a new rhythm, one that no longer follows the ticking of the clock. Most people live according to deadlines, calendars, and timers, but when your spirit truly begins to awaken, your relationship with time transforms. You become so present, so rooted in the now, that past and future start to lose their weight. It begins to feel like everything is happening all at once. Your intuition guides you more than any plan ever could. And finally you realize, life isn't a TI about controlling everything. It's about aligning with what makes sense for your soul. You may begin to drift from rigid routines, You may lose enthusiasm for long-term goals that once seemed so important. But this isn't a lack of discipline. It's your internal compass shifting from clock time to soul time. You begin to trust your inner impulses more than external agendas. You notice synchronicities, messages, meetings, signs, all arriving at the perfect moment, even if it's not the moment you expected. And the more you surrender to this, the more time stops being something you chase and becomes something you dance with, flowing in rhythm with life. Layer 6. A deep longing for solitude. Something curious starts to happen to those who are chosen. A genuine longing for solitude. Not because you're sad, lonely, or bored, but because being alone begins to feel more meaningful. You haven't shut the world out. You still care deeply about those who matter. But a quiet part of you begins to crave silence. The kind of silence where you can truly hear yourself. This often comes after your energetic sensitivity increases. You begin to notice that being around others too often can disrupt your inner vibration. Even light conversations can drain you. And it's not personal, it's energetic. You start turning down certain invitations, muting notifications that used to pull your attention, and spending hours just being with yourself, and genuinely loving it. There's a reason for this. Your spirit is recalibrating. Solitude is where integration happens. It's where messages arrive, where the mind slows down and the body exhales. It's the moment when you exit the noise and enter your center. Many fear being alone, but the chosen begin to understand that solitude is not emptiness. It's nourishment. It's in that stillness that strength is found, clarity returns, and you reconnect with who you really are. Because for the chosen, being alone isn't escape, it's sacred space. Layer 7. You can't wear masks anymore. This is the deepest layer of all. And once you reach it, there's no going back. You simply can't pretend anymore. You can't fake smiles. You can't engage in shallow conversations. You can't wear a curated version of yourself just to make others comfortable. But this doesn't mean you've become cold or rude. It means you've become real. That authenticity begins to shine so brightly that some people will walk away, while others will be drawn to you like a beacon. But you will feel lighter. You will feel whole. Because this is the most truthful point of the awakening. Returning to your essence. You stop trying to fit into molds. You stop seeking approval. You no longer shrink yourself to fit expectations. You begin to feel grounded, not out of pride, but out of clarity. And suddenly, things get simpler. Your choices become obvious. Your boundaries become natural. You even stop apologizing for being who you are. And in that moment, your awakening settles. Not because you became perfect, but because you finally stopped hiding. And in a world obsessed with appearances, being real is revolutionary. If you recognize these layers within yourself, even if you've only passed through a few, listen to this with your heart. You're not going crazy. You're not lost. You're not broken. You're awakening. In a way only a few ever do. These signs aren't random. They're not a breakdown, and they're not just a phase. They're your soul calling you into something deeper. A journey where you no longer live just to survive, but to remember who you truly are. Yes, you came here to help, but not by abandoning yourself in the process. You came to live as an awakened being, rooted, purposeful, a living expression of truth in human form. That's why your old life doesn't make sense anymore. That's why the world feels louder, messier. That's why this calling inward feels so intense. If this stirred something inside you, leave a comment below and write, "I feel this awakening in my soul." Let's affirm it together. Because the chosen may walk alone for a while, but they are never truly alone. And before you go, subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.